The series is set in the year 2418, a world that has become ultra-futuristic. Humans are now able to visit other planets through space travel, and the entire galaxy is explorable. The galaxy contains planets with low gravity, like Earth, and planets with high gravity, like Xylan. In order for humans to travel to high-gravity planets, they need to use protective suits. Xylan has 10 times stronger gravity than Earth, and even a spaceship needs to activate a gravity shield to protect the humans. They will immediately drop to the ground if they leave the shield, as they will weigh 10 times as much. Anything thrown to this planet from Earth will be immediately flattened and crushed. Furthermore, if a person's protection suit is damaged, then her body parts will be destroyed. The species born on a high-gravity planet, however, has high-density bones and muscles, and is stronger than the species born on other planets. The Xylans are one of the strongest species in the universe, because of the relatively high gravity of their home planet. One such powerful Xylan is Alara Kitten. She can smash doors and walls with her bare hands, and crush a solid block of titanium into a sphere with her hands. She is a security officer aboard the exploratory spaceship, the U.S.S. Orville. The Orville's duty is to maintain peace on the planets, and to defend against attacks from other galaxies, if they occur. There are a few others operating the Orville, but all but a few are human. Its leader, Captain Mercer, is a human, who is known for getting things done one way or another. Then there's a planet called Sargass 4, where 2 people are being interviewed. They appear to have made a mistake, and the interviewer is continually asking them if they are sorry. Everyone has an odd-looking badge on them, and there's an upvote and downvote button on it. The public begins voting shortly after, and the live count of the votes is displayed on TV, whether the 2 criminals should be punished. Later, the criminals are taken to the punishment room, but one of them attempts to escape and is shot dead by the cops. Next, the second criminal is seated on a chair and a device is put on his head. When he gets 10 million down votes, he gets electrocuted and the scene changes. Several days later, the Orville comes to Sargass 4 to search for 2 of their lost scientists. The peculiarity of the planet is that its culture is virtually the same as that of the 21st century Earth. Before the mission is started, Mercer reveals to his group that the 2 researchers had been sent to Sargass 4 to study the place, but since 1 month, they have become contactless. He then sends a team of 4 down to Sargass 4, Commander Kelly, Dr. Claire, Lieutenant Lamar, and Lieutenant Alara. Alara is different and has unusual patterns on her face, so she wears a traditional Sargass hat and puts a band-aid on her nose before she leaves. The 4 arrive on the planet and see that it's quite like 21st century Earth. The people use their badges as if it's a part of their everyday life, which is strange. For example, a guy says nice thing about his friend's weight loss, he receives an upvote, and another guy spills his coffee on a stranger, and he receives a downvote. To sum up, the Sargass 4 is a democratic state, where the people rule the show, even determining a person's fate. However, the Orville group doesn't pay much attention to it and simply proceeds with their mission. A while later, they come across a bookstall and inquire about the researchers. However, the owner gives them 4 badges, saying that it's illegal to walk without one. As the 4 are walking through the streets, Lieutenant Lamar tries to have some fun and starts dancing with a nearby statue. But Lamar, being Lamar, keeps on demonstrating his odd moves, and Commander Kelly tells him to stop right away. One day, people start taking videos of the dance and Lamar is finally able to get off the statue. The group soon arrives at a cafe, where they see a woman being rejected due to her huge downvotes. Surprisingly, the ones who have many downvotes are ostracized by the society in this world. As the group approaches a cafe employee, Lysella, and shows her the picture of the 2 researchers that went missing, they are surprised to learn that the 2 are popular people, as they had been corrected recently. But before they can ask any further questions, all at once Lamar's downvotes start to increase at exponential levels. The group is perplexed on what's happening, and just then, a TV report displays the footage of Lamar dancing with the statue. Strangely, the reporter comments that Lamar was humping the statue, which turns out to be a deity on that planet. Confused, the group decides to return back to their planet, but when they reach outside, a large mob of people surround them. Lamar attempts to prove his innocence, but, unfortunately, a group of cops shows up and whisk him away. Then he's brought to prison, where a man named Willix, who is a publicist by day, approaches him. In this world, publicity officers are the equivalent of lawyers, but their jobs are contrastingly different. Willix attempts to get Lamar's side of the story, but he says that he was just dancing. He also says he doesn't know all the rules of the world, so Willix tells him all the rules. He says in Sargasso 4 it is all democratic. If someone commits a crime, the public decides what will happen to him, her through a voting system. If the said person gets 10 million down votes, then they will be corrected. A correction is a procedure in which a criminal is electrocuted until all his memories are wiped off. Hearing this, Lamar becomes terrified and begs Wilkes to help him, but the latter mentions that there is a legal process. Lamar will have to go through a series of interviews, which will be displayed on live TV, and if the audience likes his apology, they might upvote him and save him. So, the best they can do to get out of the correction is to prepare an apology speech. A while later, the Orville group visits Lamar in the waiting room and finds out about the correction that he is going to face. Hearing the word correction, Alara remembers that the cafe employee, Lysella, also mentioned that their two friends had been corrected, and that is why they are so famous in this world. So, Alara, together with Dr. Claire, decides to interrogate Lysella, while Commander Kelly remains behind with Lamar. In the next scene, Lamar is being readied for his first apology interview, while Wilkes and Claire try their best to motivate him. But the session turns out to be a disaster when Lamar embarrasses himself. The people begin voting shortly, and Lamar gets a whopping 4 million down votes. Elsewhere, Lieutenant Alara and Dr. Claire approach Lysella and start interrogating her about their missing colleagues. Lysella mentions that one was corrected and sent to a facility, while the other one was shot and killed as he tried to run away. Later, when Alara and Claire are in the bathroom, Lysella comes up to them and stumbles upon Alara's bare face. Scared, she tries running away, but the Orville duo calms her down and takes her out for a drink. There, Alara and Claire finally reveal that they are aliens and that they have to come to take their friends back. Soon, Lysella also starts feeling comfortable, and she tells them that the researchers were apprehended for not giving up their seats to a pregnant woman. After this, the three head to the correctional facility and finally find one of the researchers that was corrected. He appears to be very calm and has no recollection of what he did. Dr. Claire takes him back to the Orville, seeing his terrible state. On the other hand, Lamar goes to his second apology interview, but once again, things go wrong when he forcefully high-fives the audience. The downvotes this time are 9.3 million. Back at the Orville, everyone is anxious about Lamar, as time is running out. Just then, Captain Mercer comes up with a plan. He realizes that in order to defeat the voting system of Sargasso 4, they need an inside person. Hence, he takes the tough decision to bring Lysella to their base. After she is brought to the Orville, she is taken aback to see the facilities and employees inside it. Wasting no time, Captain Mercer conducts a meeting and asks Lysella if there is any way to change the people's perception towards Lamar. After a moment, the girl thinks and answers that they may have a chance if people learn the good things about Lamar. Hearing this, the Orville scientist, Isaac, puts forth a plan to hack into the voting database, and Mercer gives him the heads up. In other areas, Lamar is taken to the correction room where a live vote count is being shown. Everyone will get 10 minutes to vote, and at the end of the 10 minutes, if they hit 10 million, Lamar will be corrected. As he would expect, he has the worst start. Meanwhile, at the Orville, Lysella says that people on Sargasso 4 are sympathetic towards the criminals who take care of their grandmothers. They have a military record, and they love their dogs. Hearing this, Isaac uses his alpha tech skills and hacks into the voting database. He then fabricates the good facts about Lamar and spams it in the system. The plan succeeds, and quite a few begin to upvote Lamar. This makes the vote split and Lamar is saved. Few weeks later, the group again decides to inspect another planet, which resembles medieval Earth. This time, it's the job of Commander Kelly, Isaac, and Lieutenant Malloy. Since the planet consists of very medieval people, the group is strictly ordered to not come in contact with any people, as it may result in cultural contamination. Soon after, as the shuttle arrives at the planet, they see that it is similar to Earth, but several millennia ago. The commander, Kelly, goes out first, and through her binoculars she can see a village nearby. Then, after a while, as she is looking around, two little girls suddenly catch sight of her. Weirded out by her look, they immediately start running away, but one of them trips and falls, causing her head to bleed. Although Kelly is under strict commands to not come in contact with anyone on the planet, her maternal instincts can't simply let the girl bleed out. Hence, she approaches the little girl and introduces herself. She then takes out one of her futuristic devices and heals the girl's wound. Unfortunately, as Kelly turns around, she sees that some medieval people have noticed her and she flees the location. Later, When everyone is reunited in the base to draw their conclusions, the mysterious planet disappears in an instant. This leaves everyone speechless, but the smartest guy in the Orville, Isaac, comes up with a theory. He says that the planet has a multiphasic orbit. These orbits are very rare, as half of them are in a universe and the other half in a different universe. That's why the planet suddenly vanished. It's now been teleported to another universe where it can orbit. Lastly, Isaac states that, from the geometry and mass of the orbit, the planet should come back to this universe in exactly 11 days. Hearing this, Captain Mercer and the group agree to wait for the planet to come back. In the next scene, Isaac's assumption comes out to be true, as after 11 days of waiting, the planet finally returns back. However, he senses something very weird. On further inspection, he finds out that although the planet has returned after 11 years, it has become significantly populated and advanced, and now, it resembles 14th century Earth. This stuns the entire audience, and Isaac explains the phenomenon in a very simple manner. 11 days have passed for the Orville, but 700 years have passed for the planet. That's 700 years since Commander Kelly and her crew had visited the planet. The team is amazed at the discovery and once more goes exploring on the planet, but this time, Captain Mercer is also on their list. At first, they decide to find some clothes so that they can blend in with the people. Hence, they approach a nearby hut and try stealing some clothes, but just then, a lady emerges with her child. She confronts Kelly and begs her to bless her child. Kelly is confused, but reluctantly agrees. Because of the incident, the group realizes that something really bad has happened. Later, they arrive at some bodies hanging on a pole as they put on their new clothes and head on their way. When Captain It is asked by Mercer, a man tells her they were hanged for blaspheming their god Kelly. But that's not the end of it. The group discovers that the entire village worships Kelly and criminals are executed in her name. Even a small kid is forced to study. When his mother mentions that Kelly is watching him, the group is stunned and they arrive at a religious temple where they discover a huge statue of their god, Kelly. It is then that they discover that 700 years ago, Kelly had met the people. She appeared modern and was able to heal the girl with her device, and so rumors began to circulate around this planet that Kelly was a god. Consequently, they began to worship her, and even after 7 centuries they still consider her as their savior. This is a serious issue for the group because they have violated one of the Orville's rules. Hence, they try to sort out the problem before it reaches the higher authorities. After a bit of thinking, Kelly decides to confront the head of state, Volantis, and reveal that she is immortal. She soon arrives at a huge mansion, and when the guards and Volantis recognize her, they bow down to her as a gesture of respect. Kelly tells them to get up and starts explaining that she is not a god. Expectedly, no one believes her, so Kelly cuts her own palm and draws out some blood. Then she uses the same device to heal her wound. Volantis is amazed at her healing power, but Kelly claims that anyone can do it with the aid of the device. She then proposes that Volantis do likewise, and when he cuts his palm and uses the device, it does. This, combined with the knowledge that Kelly is like all other beings and that she bleeds, finally proves to Volantis that she is not a god. Then he vows to share the information with his people, saying that they should be told the truth as well. After Kelly and the group leaves, Volantis proceeds to prepare his men to spread the news throughout the world. One of his greedy assistants, however, who thinks that Kelly is needed to keep control over the people, stabs him in the back and kills him. Following this, the scene fast forwards by 11 days, where the group is seen waiting for the planet to reappear. Soon, Isaac detects some movements, and the planet, which has now transformed into 21st century Earth, emerges. Without wasting any time, he conducts some tests and finds out that the people are still worshipping Kelly. But she has also been controversial as thousands of people are being killed in her name by terrorists. The group is devastated to learn that their plan didn't work. Just when it seems like they are in trouble, Kelly comes up with an idea. She proposes that she, herself, will head to the planet and stay there her entire life, so that she can prove that she's not a god. However, Captain Mercer immediately forbids her, explaining that it is too risky. Suddenly, Isaac intervenes and says he will do it. Since he's a robot and knows a great deal about science, the people will believe him. Moreover, he will also live for the next 700 years, since it is only 700 seconds for him. Although Captain Still, Mercer and his team are not convinced, and they decide to let him go, for it is the only way to fix the damage. The scene then cuts back to 11 days, and the planet is again seen. This time, it has transformed into a highly futuristic world, with gigantic cities in it. Meanwhile, a spaceship approaches the Orville and asks for permission to enter. Captain Mercer approves of it, and 2 futuristic-looking aliens, along with Isaac, enter. The 2 thank Captain Mercer and the group for sending Isaac, as he was one of the driving forces behind their planet's development. Kelly asks them if she is still being worshipped, and they say that they stopped doing it a long time ago. The people, however, are grateful that Kelly and the other aliens visited their planet, because they were given the motivation and willpower to make their planet similar. The episode concludes with the aliens returning to their planet, and the Orville going on his journey of exploring. Subscribe to watch more videos like this, leave a comment about your favorite movie, and we will make it next. Thanks for watching.